Um, yeah, apologies. Apologies, we didn't start a little earlier. I was in the bath.
Well, that's a disconcerting thing to hear. When I assume the reason was just that you were fiddling with a little bit of audio equipment or getting yourself sorted. I didn't necessarily need to be propelled into the image of you nude and possibly covered in some sort of lathered bath soap. But
Mm.
thank you for the specificity.
Oh, no problem. No, I wasn't. I wasn't tinkering with any audio. I'm afraid. I missed your message at 10 to 9. I only saw that about 20 minutes ago. So, um, I was just waiting on you. I thought you hadn't finished your lunch yet or your breakfast or whatever it was. What was it? What'd you have?
I actually had some leftover chicken wings and a little bit of a sort of a bogan ratatouille that I had knocked up last night for mine and Chuck's dinner, and I got to enjoy the spoils of the leftovers. So that was what I was munching on. But if we
So
could
you
just stay
read?
on your bath for a
Oh,
second,
okay.
um,
Mm.
I historically not a big bath guy. In fact, I reckon in the last let's say 10 years, let's make it a nice clean decade. I reckon there's very little chance I've had more than 5 baths. I reckon if I was doing more than a bath every 2 years, I'd be shocked.
It's just so funny, isn't it, how different we are? Because in the winter months, if I can afford the time, will strive to have at least one. I'll tell you what, sometimes 2 baths a day, Jack.
Oh,
Just for
hey,
something.
I thought we were going to work in weeks there.
No, no. Look, in the height of winter, and let me tell you right now, you're probably thinking, "Oh, it's May now in Sydney. It must be freezing, mate. It's humid as buggery right now.
Is it?
I've got the aircon on because I sat down
Yet
here,
still,
switched the light
the
on
bath
above
has a
me,
place
and
as you freeze
I
up a little
basically
on my screen.
hmm, I I sat down here and I was sweating in my proverbial boots, which doesn't really make sense there because that means nervous. But
Well,
I was hot.
I think it doesn't
I was
mean anything
shaking,
because I think it's shaking in your
shaking.
boots. Yeah,
So I was sweating in my in my seat,
in your jock
and
strap.
I went, this is just absurd. I'm gonna have to flick on the old air con, but how's it over there? So you're in Lancaster right now. You mentioned you're at Charlie's house,
I am. I'm
Charlie's
currently
parents'
in
house.
Lancaster in the county of Lancashire in the north of England. I am situated at the childhood home of one um, Charlie Hugh Morris Galloway. We are here until we find a place in Glasgow. We nipped up to the great Scottish city a couple of days ago for our first day of house hunting, and that mixed returns. I would say we had a look at a couple of places, couple of different areas, both geographic and indeed socioeconomic. And we decided to put in an application for one place. Haven't heard back yet. That was the back end of last week, though. It's now Sunday here, so yeah. Hopefully, I have an update for the listeners when next we convene. TK. Um, but as yet, no. It's a you know it's a hillbilly life for me. It's an in between life for me. It's a halfway life for me.
A half life, like the in Harry Potter. Anyone who drinks the blood of a unicorn, um, they will live. It'll keep them alive, but they will live a half life, a cursed life, as Ferenzi said.
Well,
Um,
that's the compromise that one sort of assumes when they decide to drink the blood of a leprechaun. Sorry,
unicorn.
sorry, a unicorn. I don't know
Mm.
what would happen if you tried to drink the blood of a leprechaun. Yeah,
Wow.
that's what happens. You play a dangerous game. And shout out to Michael Flatley's Dangerous Games, a spin off of Lord of the Dance, his famous Irish dancing stage show.
Are you
Yeah,
enjoying being there? Describe it to me? Is the air crisp and cool? Is it? Do you have that kind of that buzz of excitement that you get when you at the start of an adventure? Like, give me some
Yeah,
adjectives. Throw some at me,
well,
please.
I'll try. When first I arrived, certainly there was an air of excitement, of great perhapses, being gone to had, of clean, crisp, 10 degrees cooler northern hemisphere air. Even though it is spring here, but it's still, we're still cutting around at that sort of 15-degree mark today. Although I have had some lovely sunny 22-degree afternoons whilst I've been here as well. But yeah, there's a lot of optimism in the air, TK, of what's to come. Naturally, would love to we'd love to get settled in a place and sort of and get on with the living. But at the moment, we're just sort of going through that admin sludge of finding a place and of getting myself set up over here. Got the phone number, applied for the national insurance number, got the bank account, all that jazz. What I have been doing, TK, to acclimate, if you will, and I know that you will, is
Mm,
indulge in all manner of local fare. So I'll give you an example of what that means. Sunday, exactly a week ago, I land. I meet one Charles Galloway at the airport in Manchester. We get the train up to Lancaster. We have, a quick settler cup of tea, shower separately, obviously, and then it's into a bit of a crawl around town, Guinness, etc., etc. Nip into Weatherspoons for a sort of a lunch break. Weatherspoons, for anyone who's not
spoons.
familiar, Spoons, sort of it's a chain of very affordable British pubs. So to give you an idea, a pint of lager at Weatherspoons is £1.99. So that'd be equivalent about
Did you
$3.70 for a pint.
when I was over there with Bam Bam and Bert and Danoon, we were frequenting the spoons our entire time in the UK, and we found that the cheapest pint there was the Green King IPA. Now it's particularly hard to drink the old Green King because it is a cask uh, IPA, and
Cask
it's
ale.
well, yeah, it's room temperature, um, but you drink enough of it, it'll get you pissed, and it's not going to break the bank.
It's not my jam, the Green King IPA, and in fact none of the cask ales are, but the Weatherspoons in Lancaster, obviously they're all sort of slightly independently run, but the Weatherspoons in Lancaster, and the one I went to in Preston the other day for my national insurance number interview, they were both doing a £1.99 pint of Coors and of Bud Light,
Oh,
which is much
okay,
more up my alley.
yeah.
But anyway, had that. Chuck had a chicken tikka masala, chips, rice, and
Oh,
papadums, and
oh,
I made my first meal back in the kingdom, a bit of a JK favorite, takes ham, egg, and chips.
oh,
Um, yeah,
yes, absolutely. I
yeah,
saw Marco Pierre White do his version, his take on the classic British comfort that is ham, egg, and chips on his
yes,
Instagram recently, and I just thought they just do comfort food well over there, don't they? That just that
they
classic
do.
kind of. For me, if I'm in that part of the world, it's got to be chips, cheese, curry, sauce. But that is just diarrhea-inducing um, uh, food, if there's ever been
Well, not to
one.
put too fine a point on it, but yes, you're right. I mean, they do the warming stodge particularly well. That night, kind of, look, I won't lie to you, TK. It got out of hand, and it got out of hand fast. What
Mm.
was supposed to be a couple of quiet pints, having got in at 7 a.m. that morning, ended up with Charlie and I sitting in his kitchen at about 5 o'clock in the a.m. the following day, having done all manner of absurd things, no less absurd than travel 20 minutes out of town to a country pub that had a session on. Yeah, ridiculous. Having had the ham, egg, and chips, and I played that, by the way, into a spice bag at Weatherspoons. We met this
A
bloke who was
Weatherspoon
eating.
spice bag.
Yeah, it was good. And
Was
we
it?
met this. Yeah, well, it was. We met this bloke at the pub who was finishing off his Sunday roast, and we got chatting to him. And he had a bit of pork left on his plate, and he went, "Do you want it?" And
No.
I went, "Well, hang on a sec." I nipped around to the kitchen, and I said, "Have you got a knife and fork?" And I sampled his roast pork, and that's not a euphemism.
Although
Um,
it could have been. It could have been
well,
because
for
what you
for
did to him
what?
after that was
Yeah, exactly.
when you sampled his roast pork.
Yeah, when I got him in the bathroom, and I got a little little taste of
Porked
his
him in the
piglet.
rear.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness me, goodness me.
Um,
But yeah, that was that night, and to just to sort of buzz you through my indulgences quickly, takes the next morning. I got myself into town. I had to do a couple of bits.
this
Charlie
is
was a little
Lancaster
later
Town
in.
or
This
Manchester,
is Lancaster Town. Charlie was a little
which
late
is
in.
sorry to butt in, but
No,
just for the
you're right.
listener and for me, Lancaster, how far out of Manchester?
It's about 40 minutes out of Manchester, north
And
of Manchester.
it's its own city though, yeah.
It's a city. Like if you Google it, it's called a city in the northeast of England.
I,
Yeah.
I believe Charlie has told me, I could be wrong, that it was the traditional um, capital of the Manchester County or something, because it's got a castle there and it's technically like a royal
There's a
part of the
castle, and
county. So
he seems to think that the King of England or the Queen of England is the Duke or Duchess or Duchy, I think they say, of Lancaster. That's their title. I could be, perhaps that's wrong. It
who knows?
I don't want to yeah, I don't want to Google it, to be honest with you. I don't want to look it up. I
No.
like to believe that's true.
Mm.
Um
Sorry,
but
go on.
well, I nipped into town to do a few bits, and I got myself something to eat. I won't tell you what just yet, but Charlie had called me and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I've had something to eat." And came back, did a few things at the house, and Charlie said, "Oh, what do you want to do for dinner?" And I suggested, "Why don't we go and get fish and chips?" And we went for a long walk to a proper British chippy, about 40 minutes walk away. That's like a good one, and
Mm.
um, and we got a proper fish and chips. And it was only as we were waiting for our fish and chips to be served, having already ordered, that I disclosed to Charlie that it wasn't my first fish and chips of the day, and that earlier in town that day, I went on a little um, expedition to one Mother Hubbard's fish and chip shop and got myself a
Shout
bit
out
of
to it.
cod. Shout out to it, a bit of cod chips and curry sauce.
Ooh.
Um, I know, which Charlie just thought that was hilarious that I had already had fish and chips that day, had hidden it from him out of some sort of weird shame, and then I had suggested we get fish and chips for dinner.
Hey, look,
So look,
mate, really feel like fish and chips. Something I haven't eaten in a while. Wink, wink.
exactly,
Strange
exactly.
thing to keep. Strange thing to keep from him. Strange thing to strange bit of information to keep to yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes you wonder what other things am I keeping to myself. If the fish and chips is enough to get my lips sealed.
It really does make me wonder. I Now you left on Anzac Day. Uh,
I wouldn't mind a recap from you on the great day.
I've got
Uh,
I've got I've got a few good stories from last weekend and in fact yesterday. Um, so you left on Anzac Day at around. Oh, for context, we had a bit of a rip, a fucking enormous rip. Me, you, and Thomas Andrew Cedric Hughes, that is, and
can I
Bridget
add to
and
that before
Caitlin.
you go on, Teeks? Yes, our two sisters, you, me, and Thomas Andrew Cedric Hughes. Can I also say a rip that got out of hand and got out of hand fast, and a rip that some could look at from afar and go, the uneducated listener could look at from afar and go, was that necessary? Was that a necessary rip?
And the answer is probably no. But look, I felt, and then look,
Sorry, mate. You could probably turn your gain down just one notch, just because you. I
I
can see the
thought
input.
so.
So
I thought so. No, I then the next day followed it up. So for context, we stayed up late with a bit of help and um, ploughed on till probably about 5 a.m. I would say, yeah, about
yeah,
that.
it was. It would have been 5, 6. The cocks were a crowing, and there were people up and about and into their work.
And the problem is that I had already made plans the next day to meet my friends at Hugh Bam Bam Turkey and Ham's house in Balmain at 9 a.m., right? Because on Anzac Day, if you want to go do the whole top thing, you want to get into one of the good pubs, which is packed with lots of people you know and everything. And you don't want the agony of waiting in line for ages. You need to kind of get there early. Now, luckily, Hugh lives around the corner from the pub we were going to this year, which is Cat and Fiddle. Usually go to the Sackville, but we thought we'd change it up. And good thing we did because it seemed everyone else got the memo. Everyone else who we usually see at the Sackville, like all the kind of that kind of inner west crowd of people from every walk of life that you know, they all happen to be at the Cat and Fiddle as well. And great venue. They did a great job at hosting tour. They did it on the street on that. Did you know it's on the corner? They block off a big part of
Yeah.
the street and do it there. Great fun. Now, I was supposed to get to Hughes for breakfast at 9 a.m., get into the pub at 10, no line, whatever. But we stayed up till about 5. Actually, I think I was up till 6 because I remember looking at my phone and going, fucking hell, I'm going to leave here at 8. Should probably just stay up. So I tried to just stay up. I ended up getting about a few winks of sleep. I got up to have a shower and go to Hughes. I got up, had a shower, then went back to bed because I was like, no, absolutely fucking not. Got up, we had breakfast with the family. You end up going off, and I'm like, and mind you, I've made this mistake before. This is not the first time I've done this on Anzac Day. I've gone, it's midday, still pretty early in the day. The line won't be too bad. It'll be whatever, you know. Tell you, mate, those few hours make a difference because I get to the Cat and Fiddle at 12 p.m. I got into the Cat and Fiddle at 2:30. I was in the line for 2.5 hours.
Oh,
That's how long the line
doing
was.
what? Doing what?
I was. It's typical line waiting shit. You don't really interact with the people in front of you and back of you in the line for a while, and then probably an hour in, everyone starts kind of talking to each other. By the end of the line, you're best mates with all the groups around you because you've been in that. It's shared trauma. There was a young lady, kind of who arrived at the same time as me, and another guy who was by himself as well. She, at about just after the 2-hour mark, where we can see the door of the pub, we're almost there. She goes, all my friends are leaving. They're going to the Bald Rock. So she'd waited in line for 2 hours and she's just walked. She goes, we're getting an Uber, come on. Now, Jack, do you want to hear, on Anzac Day of all days, do you want to hear the most disgraceful, un-Australian thing you could possibly imagine? The Secchies were taking money from people to let them in from the back.
Oh, now hang on a moment. Really?
100 a pop, negotiable on price, but 100 a pop, generally speaking. I said no. Obviously, the people around me all said no, and they would just, whenever anyone walked past, you could see the Secchies leading him in. Secchi had a big fucking hunk of cash in his hand. He was also taking bank transfers. A few people I know did it, scumbags. But
Can I say something to that, TK?
That man would have easily made over $10,000 that day. No fucking.
Well, that man,
no
TK,
doubt about it.
that man, one, should be taxed out the wazoo for that cash, but also, TK, also, I'm not going to sit here and start saying that any man or woman trying to make a quid, if I can use the British term having been here for a week, trying to make a quid should be deported for doing so. I'm not going to say that. But what I will say is that on Anzac Day of all days, our non-etch national day, our less controversial national day, hilarious because it's our memorial national day, but that any man
it's
caught
the
trying
surrogate
to
Australia Day.
any man trying to profiteer off the desperation of cures on said day should be, in my opinion, disbarred from the Association of Security Guards, whatever their equivalent is. I think he should be struck down for conduct unbecoming. And, you know, I think it behooves you, the royal you, the security you, to remember in future that Anzac Day, it ain't about making a buck, Teeks. Okay? It ain't about that, mate. It's about brethren. It's about man and or woman coming together, united under a flag, TK. Technically united under British rule. But, you know, like, that's what it's about.
I agree. And what this man was displaying was not about that. And it was blood boiling, frankly. And I was buoyed by the fact that all the people around me had the same kind of distaste for the man and refused his advances because he was actually coming up to us, Jack, and saying, "Hey, if you guys want to," like when you got there, he goes, $100 to jump to the front, guys. And I'm like, $100? Like that's too much money. If you'd said like $20, I'd be like, fair enough, then you'd still be making a fair quid. I still wouldn't do it, but $100 is it's absurd. It's absurd. Like
I'm reminded, TK, of the first time I ever saw someone order a round of vodka Red Bulls in the city as a young 18-year-old. I was just the standard 18-year-old, but as an 18-year-old, on one of my earliest reps, seeing someone in front of me, probably 22, 3, ordering what were then in 2014 a $14 drink per pop, the vodka Red
Wow.
Bull. I remarked then to myself, some people are just making too much money. And that, I think, is appropriate here for the person who pays $100, TK, a Ben Franklin in the US parlance, for what is essentially saving them, yeah, sure, 2 hours of time, but going in to that
Mm.
you're going to be spending some time in the queue, and that's not the proverbial queue. Although we are all in death's queue, are we not? We're all at Peter's gate, one way or another.
Don't have to take that turn. But yeah, no, look, I tell you what, mate, it was, yeah, it's character building stuff, standing in the line for 2.5 hours and rejecting the possibility of jumping the queue, and knowing that, okay, maybe I am made of stronger stuff than I thought. Because you
Or
get
just a
through it.
bit, or just a bit skint.
Yeah, and also like late, so you kind of just pay the price, don't you?
Well, you don't pay the price. That's the point.
Correct. Now, anyway, I get in. It's been 2.5 hours. I get in. I'm emotionally and physically exhausted. Oh, not physically too exhausted. I kind of just been standing there. But I get in. All my friends are completely fuck-eyed, like just completely fucked. It's 2:30 at this point, mind you.
Oh,
I
I
do the
couldn't have gone.
rounds.
I would have been at the dentist.
I get a lot. Let me tell you this straight off the rip, and we've said this before a number of times. Jack, I've never had so much support for the pod than that day. I reckon over 30 people said to me, "Oh, love the pod, love this video specifically," and random
Fair
people who
income.
I'm like, you fucking too many to name, but you know who I did meet? You know who I met for the first time?
Who?
Maria Plangetis, also known as Plangetis.
Well, I know her as playing Get Us nowadays because she corrected us. But she's a super fan, TK.
Mm.
If I can be so self-sycophantic, she's a super fan of the pod. So it's not what was it like to meet her in the flesh? The sire TK of my father's Euros, which was recently rated one of the top 10 chips in Sydney by the Sydney Morning Herald. BT Dubs.
Wow. Well, she did say to us, "When are you coming into the Euros?" I was like, "It was our intention to do that before Jack left. Trust me on this. Trust me on this. You can trust me. It's trust me on this. Just doing a pod, bro. But anyway, I was like, what the fuck was I just saying? I completely forgot before I was rudely
Playing
interrupted.
Get Us, Euros, my
Oh
father's,
yes.
etc.
And she said, "Look, come in. We'll let me know that you're coming, and we'll sort you out." And I was like, "Look, no need for that. I'll pay full price."
I'm $100
but
richer now, having stood in that line for 2.5 hours. So.
exactly, because I'm made of strong moral fiber. But no, lovely to meet her. And I tell you what, just lovely to be around that Italian group. Of like that whole look. I don't want to use the word wog, but I'm going to say it because within our year group, they're referred to as the wogs, as we are the Aussies. But that group, a lot of them were telling me that Nick Latari told me that he listens to our pod to put him to sleep, and I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or not. It was definitely meant as a compliment.
Can I say this in response to Nick Latari, if that is your real name, and indeed all of the Italiano men and women who listen to the show? Channel Luna Mezzamare, Mamma Mia,
me maritare.
Me Maritale. Now, you take that and you do what you want with it. I'm not going to force any sort of interpretation on you, but I'll say it again if you want.
Can I throw one at you?
Go on, Tex.
Conte Party Row. Paesi ken on mai.
Can I throw one back at you?
Please.
Tanti aguri a te.
A te?
Tanti aguri a te. Tanti aguri. Tanti aguri a te. Now, that is where you can feel, listeners, the slight latency in doing a podcast in two different countries, because I think we might have had one too many Tantia Guris in there.
I'm not sure that we did. But anyway, look, a lot of love and support for the podcast at the old Cat and Fiddle. I ran into Georgia Park was there as well. We had a good chat about Drizzy.
Shout out to Drizzy. I told you I've already spotted a competitor in the pantry of the Galloways.
I know, and my God, thanks for sending that through. I'll be sure to forward that to Georgia.
Lawsuit incoming, potentially.
well,
Hopefully not.
But keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
And shout out to Drizzy, anyone who is looking to get some spreadable peanut butter. I think help your friends out. Yeah, go on to drizzy.com. Is .com or .com.au?
I don't know if that's even the name of the website, but
if you just Google Drizzy peanut butter,
it's in Maloney's grocery, I've been told now, and it's also in another grocery store as well.
A couple of grocery stores.
Sorry for being so specific. Yeah. Anyway, Jack, day of utter debauchery at the Cat and Fiddle, which led to a kick-ons of some enormity at the ranch in Willara, where we were joined by such people as Harry John Menenti, and it was great to see him. Unfortunately, he was completely sober, and because he'd just flown into Sydney or driven in, I think. And I was just on another planet completely because, again, a few hours sleep the night before, I'd absolutely ripped it with you guys. Ripping it again, it will put you into what I had was one of the worst migraines I think of my life, at like 10 p.m. and I'm just lying there. We're at the pub. We watched South's Pump Melbourne. Did you see that game today? The Newcastle.
I was up at 5 a.m. to watch it.
Mate, that was an interesting game.
It was, mate. It was. If I can quote the illustrious, the great mind, I can't think of his name. Oh, if I could quote Stormzy, it was bonkers. That game.
Well,
is that his song?
Bonkers? No, that's not Stormzy.
Oh, who is it, Chuck? Dizzy Rascal. If I could quote Dizzy Rascal,
Dizzy Rascal's nothing like Stormzy.
Is he not? They're both.
Stormzy's a grime rapper.
Stormzy's a grime fella. That's it. He's the nothing gay about me or whatever it is.
He's
nothing crazy about me. Oh no, that's bonkers.
That's bonkers.
Sorry.
He's no, you're thinking what you're confusing it with what's the song called?
Right.
Shut up. Yeah, you think of that. The song's called Shut Up. Anyway, what was I just talking about? I feel like I was mid-story. Oh yeah.
Well, you were just recapping this on your weekend, really.
Big migraine. Yeah, anyway, good to see everyone at the ranch. The next day, Jack, I then stay there. I needed to get an early night, get some sleep. I wake up at the ranch.
Whose bed did you take?
Sorry, we were just talking about South. I will just say Cody Walker and Latrell both looking fantastic, although your defense is pretty worrying. But anyway.
Oh, they'll sort that out. Latrell is looking unstoppable. Oh my God, that shot on Ponga.
I know, insane. But his hands are just getting better and better.
Mate, he's getting better and better. Honestly, I don't think you've ever seen him this good. It's insane how he's been the last few weeks. Anyway.
Sorry. So I didn't take anyone's bet. I take the couch. They have two wonderful couches at the ranch, not including our little piece downstairs, which they're looking after for us. But
and also our couch downstairs.
That afternoon, we then go, Jack, to watch. We went to the Genetian Theatre. Not sure if you're aware of it.
I am.
I believe used to be in the city. They've just bought this theatre, Jack, in Balmain. And let me tell you, or it might even be Roselle, technically. What a wonderful, absolutely beautiful theatre. And big as well. But I believe they just bought that building. We went there that afternoon to watch James Mullen in the J.M. Barrie play from 1902, I think, or 1912, called The Admirable Crichton. It's one of those, like, farcical family, like aristocratic family comedies, from that, that kind of era of comedy play.
Yeah.
That probably your least favorite genre of play.
Well,
But
it's sort of a heightened comedy of manners, you know.
yes, yeah. But anyway, we went to watch James. James was fantastic in it. But what we did was, Jack, myself, Justin, Judd, Skip, Bert, Jack, and his lovely girlfriend Bronte. We all went to watch James. Now we had a few we had a few we had a few joints beforehand. And so when we were in there, luckily we're in the back row. We couldn't, and I do not exaggerate this at all. This is not an exaggeration. We, for the entire duration of the play, could not stop laughing. Every single one of us, the entire time. Like when you're in class and you're trying not to laugh because you need to be quiet, and you don't want the teacher to notice you're laughing. It was that for 90 minutes. It was, mate. It was one of the. I keep saying, everyone, it was good for the soul. It was one of the most fun and enjoyable experiences, but it was so tough. Skip and Bert kept getting up to walk out because it was just the environment that we'd put ourselves in the state that we were in. Because we
Yeah.
we sit down and literally from the first line when the guy's doing the whole yes sir, no, speaking in that kind of voice, and all the boys are just doing these ones the entire time. And then it's even harder to contain when James comes on stage and his full get up doing his, like, like the conversational acting in the background, which he did a great job at, by the way. But yeah, that was a very, very, very fun afternoon.
How are the numbers?
Oh mate, it was packed. There were like 100 people there, and they're doing 6 weeks. Is that what you meant? Is that
Yeah.
what you meant by the question?
Yeah.
They're doing 6 weeks, 3 shows a week.
I wonder what their marketing strategy is. What's their clientele? Like, how
Yep.
are they?
Oh well, what do you think? If you had to guess,
Is it Christian or something?
it is, but
Is
just
it
the
old people? You're
entire
saying it's
crowd is
old.
like, yeah, but like old. Like the audience, we were all obviously in our 20s. Everybody else in the why's that thumbs up just come up on
What
my
the hell's
screen?
that thumbs up?
The mean age was above 80 for sure,
Above
dude.
80?
Put it this way: during the play, this also set us off laughing as well. The guy next to Jack and the woman in front of us, like asleep, like this, just flat out like that.
Jesus.
Just,
Well, they're
just
going to
like
have.
everyone's just falling asleep all over the place. I'm like, and the tickets are like $33, so not expensive, but like
They're going to have a lot of showstops, I'd imagine, with the amount of people who'll be needing, assistance, etc.
well, I haven't asked James about that, but yeah, it would make sense because, yeah, as I said, everyone there is so old, but so are the people working the bar and stuff as well. But
Couple things there, just while I have your ear. When you said Justin before, rather than Judd, even though you were talking, the context was that you were going to something with someone called Justin, and I know Justin very well. For some reason, I thought you meant Justin Olam.
no, you didn't.
Yes, I did. That was I went Justin Olam, and the yes, former Melbourne Storm and PNG international. And then the next thing I'll say is that when we had well, I'll just say it, when we played in Parabadoo, that play, a friend of mine who will remain unnamed had done a vegan cig before the show, and it sent him the other way. He was like panicked and almost thought he was going to have to run out of the theater until the
So,
moment where the music comes in, and that calmed him down. So it can have, you got to be careful on the doob before, before
oh,
a closed event.
it had been mentioned by someone in the group that we should do it, and I kind of went, in the back of my mind, I was like, I'd probably rather just go and watch the play, or have a few beers beforehand, so you kind of a bit, whatever. I had it in my head it wouldn't have been a good idea but it was in hindsight, I'm very, very glad we did.
Yeah. Well,
It made for a
again,
very fun afternoon.
it can go different ways, and it took you guys in a tremendous direction, which is lovely to hear, and it's good to hear that James he's getting into into the theatrical world.
Well,
That's
he said he wants
exciting.
to. He said he wants to audition for the next one they do at the end of the year. I said, "Well, mate, go for it. Absolutely. Why not?"
Fantastic. Fantastic, James. Well done,
Um,
mate.
Now, has anything else happened to me this week that was noteworthy? Aside from last night was just I just ended up at 9 a.m. at a kick-ons vomiting on the floor, completely immobilized. So I won't get into what happened beforehand, but actually, I was in an enormous group of people, Jack, which included Artie Gallagher and Sam Bowden.
Well, that's more of a personal anecdote, unless they're listening. But shout out to them, Artie Gallagher and Sam Bowden.
Didn't realize they were such good mates.
They're they're best mates. They lived together when they were in Glebe, I believe.
And I don't know why, Jack, but I said to them, I was like, 'cause Sam didn't really recognize me. I've met him a few times, but I was like, I'd had a few beers, and I said, yeah, and I was like to Lucius, I was like, oh, this is Sam Bowden. He's and I don't know why I put this enormous bit of mayo on here. I said, this is Sam Bowden. He does a podcast with my very good mate Alex Milinkovic. And I kind of saw a few of the people who he was with kind of turn and go, good, very good mate, because I think they're all very good mates with Alex Milinkovic. So we'll probably go, who the fuck is this guy? And I kind of in my head, I kind of when I said it, I was like, why did I put that mayo on? What was the need for that? What was the need for my very good friend Alex Milinkovic? Great guy, Alex. Love Alex, but would I even call him a friend? It's probably more of an acquaintance.
It's probably a stretch. It's a stretch, a hell of a stretch. But unfortunately, TK, not to get too much into the sort of metaphysics of it all, but that is the problem with linear time. You can't have a moment back, and sometimes things slip out your gob, and you go, "Fuck, why did I do that?" Not really sure why, but it's done now. It's done.
It's done. It's done. Let's just lean into it. Let's just lean into it. Now
yeah,
I'm going to tell a
lean
personal
away from
anecdote about Alex that never happened to try and prove how close I am with him.
Oh yeah,
I didn't do that. I didn't.
No, I'm glad you didn't do that. That would have been could have been potentially problematic. Bit of a settler pod, this one, listeners. Bit of a settler pod. Where obviously it's the first remote one we've done for a long time, and so we're still obviously going to be working out the kinks. So if there's any sort of technical uncomfortability to listening to this, uncomfortableness rather, apologies. I was at the Ben Nevis in Glasgow a couple of nights ago.
Nice.
I was. It wasn't the traditionally raging session, though. It was a sort of quieter session, and indeed there was a woman there playing the mallets, which was a little bit random, but it was nice to get up to Glasgow and to cut around a little bit.
Was there that?
Tell you, mate. I got to tell you this.
The old fella with long hair and the bongo drums there?
No. I got to tell you this. I really, really hope we get this flat we've applied for. It's a stretch. It's going to be competitive. And it's probably realistically out of our price range, but we've sort of just gone, fuck it, let's apply. Because, put it this way, you're never going to live in an apartment this nice again. Like it is, well, not never, but not in the next 15 years.
What area is it in? Is it in that south side or is it in
it's in an area called Shorelands, which is kind of the capital of the south side of Glasgow, which has become traditionally the west end of Glasgow is the sort of trendy, cool end, and it still is, but now there's a new area. If the west end is sort of Glebe, right? Now there's also like the Shorelands has popped up, and that's Redfern, Newtown. You know what I mean? Like there's a new area. So just to give you an equivalency, because I know you thrive off that. But yeah,
I
cracking
do, yeah.
flat. Really, I love high ceilings. These are maybe a pinch too high. These ceilings. Big, beautiful rooms, hardwood floors, big floor to ceiling windows, leafy area. So
careful with those floor to ceiling windows, mate, because if they fall off, you've got no wall.
Yes, hopefully we're not being managed by Bondi Realty. Shout out to them.
By the way, how do I because you said you can somehow stop those emails. I'm getting Jack still on the daily. Dear Thomas, please be advised there's a new inspection next week in this time. I'm like, why are you still messaging me? I haven't lived there in 2 weeks.
So the emails you can just
Emailing.
divert to spam. You can just say block this person. It'll just send it to spam, and then you
I
can mute
tried.
the
I couldn't
text
figure out how
messages.
to do it, but
That's insane. It's pretty simple. I do think it's funny just on a personal side, and I only bring this up because people have been kind of invested in our goings on with that real estate agency, even though we left, like over 2 weeks ago now. Um, I
did you
think
have
it's
any
funny that
interaction with her when you brought the keys back?
I didn't bring the keys back.
Oh, okay.
I
Sorry.
never brought them
Go on.
back because I think they were well shot of us and we were well shot of them, and it was like, you know what, fuck yous, you can recut a $7 key, and they were probably like, fuck yous, we'll
Yeah,
recut a $7 key, you know.
and
But I
Roz
do
can
think
clean
it's
up her shit off
hilarious
the
that
floor.
in one of the most competitive rental markets in the world, in which places are snapped up on the daily, they have had that place listed for like a month, and they cannot. They still are sending us fucking, for some reason, like you said, automated text messages about the fact that they've got an inspection coming up. The fact they can't fill it, one,
Well, what's it tell you?
uh, too expensive. You've
Demolition
made it too
clause.
expensive. One, you've made it too expensive. Two, it's public knowledge you want to demolish it. Three, maybe some of the people who are potential letters listen to Carnage, and we've dragged your name through the mud. I'm sorry. And four, maybe you guys have a reputation as being cunty to deal with, outside of the four walls of this podcast, TK. Maybe. And you
Perhaps
might say, hey, TK and Jack, keep our name out your fucking
out your
mouth. And to
fucking
that,
mouth.
I'll say, yeah, well, to that, I'd say, next time a window falls out of a fucking wall, you better have a faster recoil than a 1 week get back. Okay? You better
Mm,
be quicker than that. You better
Or
be.
maybe just even reply at all without being semi abused into it. I think
Well,
I think
listen.
but just back to your point, I think the main thing is the fact that what you need to understand, listener, is that this is an old apartment. This building, the back part of the building, which this apartment is in, is 150 years old. It was built in the 1870s, right? That room, our apartment we've been staying in for a year, is 150 years old. Now, obviously, there's some more modern things in there, like the bathroom and the kitchen aren't in their
Yeah,
original state from the 1870s, but
we weren't shitting into a pit.
no, we weren't washing our clothes in like a big in like a boiling tankard with fucking with a with a paddle to mix them up. But no, and there's not a lot of upkeep in there. So it's old, it's not modern, it doesn't have your a lot of the things you would want in somewhere you would live. So it's ideal for people who are younger and or students or whatever. Which is why you can't charge whatever they're fucking probably asking for, because they actually never upped the rent for us, even though they said they were going to.
The email they sent us, TK, was that they were going to be upping it at the term of the next lease if we took it up, basically, is what the notice they were giving us. They've got to give
I
you
thought they
60
did it. I thought
days.
they did it 3/4 in. Is
They
that what they
might have
usually
done.
do?
Listen, they might have done. What I'll say is that, and not to get too much into the sort of, the macroeconomics of the property market. But if you own the building, there's actually no reason for you to just up the price of rent indefinitely at every single fucking opportunity. It's not necessary. And actually, what you're going to do at some point is you're just going to price people out of the market. And that means no one's going to want to fucking rent your place. Like, you just can't keep going, well, it's been another year, I'll put it up another $50. That doesn't work like that, mate. It doesn't work. It maybe has worked like that for the last 10 years, but there's a ceiling to this. Like, it's not as if, like, in 10 years time you're going to be able to charge $2,000 a week for a 2-bed derelict in Marrickville. It's not gonna work like that. Like, it'll just get to a point where people go, well, no one can afford that, so it's just not gonna
Well,
work. Sorry.
it's ultimately not surprising, really, that there's been no bites at the cherry, because I was reading this Herald article the other day, and it makes so much sense considering how the economic state of everything right now. The housing market in Sydney is in a period of downturn for the first time in what, fucking forever. Like, it's just been the price of everything's been hiked for so long, but it's just dropped for the first time. I mean, it's expected to stabilize again and then probably go up again within the year. But like, It's something, I guess. People don't want to. People aren't buying. Why the fuck would
Well,
they?
they
Can't
can't
afford
buy. You
petrol.
know,
Hmm.
a friend of mine said this to me not that long ago, and it's sort of the kind of what I just said, so there's probably no point saying it because I think it's literally what I just said. But basically, he said something to the effect of it just can't go up indefinitely because they will get because obviously wages are not and income is not rising commensurately with it. So we'll just get to a point where it's not like, oh, I don't want to spend that money. It's people will be like, I can't spend that money. I don't have it.
I
I
don't
don't
have
have
that
that amount
money.
per week. Can't do it. And if enough people are like, can't do it, then it has to flatten out. Welcome to Economics 101 with TK and Jack.
Mm.
But it's cash flow, baby.
Shout out to Harry and Bella who just bought a place.
Shout out to them.
I
Good
I
people,
want to
good
ask you.
honest people.
Oh, great people, the best. Jack, I want to ask you a question. That I asked you
You don't
about.
have to. You don't have to preface the question with that. You can just ask it. It's okay. As
Well,
I
if you'd let me
suck
finish my sentence.
coffee out of a mum mug.
Yeah, well, as you so often do. I want to ask you a question that I asked you a few pods ago, and we said we'd return to, and that was rank the side characters from the Wiggles. That is, and now the question, and you might say, are we including Officer Beeple? Officer Beeple's where I draw the line. So no Beeple, but Captain Feathersword, Henry the Octopus, Wags the dog, and Dorothy the dinosaur.
Can I start by saying, Officer Beeple, you've put it politely. You've said that's where you draw the line. I'll put it a different way. Officer Beeple, you can beat it, cunt. That way.
You know, Officer Beeple was Leanne Halloran.
Oh no, absolutely, and shout out to a wonderful woman. I saw her recently at the
You're
UK
talking about the character,
show.
not the person.
No,
who
this
played
isn't. I can separate art from artist, and I can separate character from actor. TK, but Beeple, I don't need Beeple right now when we're talking list A characters.
And just to confirm, the big red car isn't a character, is it? No.
The big red car, it's not a character so much as it's a movement. TK, it's not a character.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well then, go on.
All right, this is going to ruffle feathers.
I can pretty well guess what you're going to say, but
this is going to ruffle feathers. But for me, it's pretty clear cut, and I'll go in ascending order. 1, Henry the Octopus. 2, Dorothy the Dinosaur. 3, Captain Feathersword. 4, Wags the dog. Now,
what?
I understand that that's going to upset people. I understand that there's a few people who've got blood in the member for old mate Feathersword, and I get it. I was a Feathersword guy. There's old photos
you were a
of me.
Feathersword head, mate.
I was a Feathersword head, mate. I loved 2 things as a child, and that was Feathersword and the Saddle Club. But there comes a point in every boy's life, TK, where you've got to grow up and you've got to see the forest from the trees. And the reality is, he did very little pirating, very, very, very little pirating. Now, he
a hell of a lot of tickling.
He had a lot of tickling. And I think in this climate, you've got to raise a proverbial eyebrow at tickling. Non-stop, unrelenting tickling, mind you. What I'll say is he had all the gear. But in my opinion, if you look at the facts, very little idea. Now, that's not to say that he didn't bring value to the show. And I absolutely 100% put him above Wags the dog every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And I would say, for me, that top 3, distance to 4. A distance to 4.
Okay.
What I'll say,
I think I completely agree. We'll just if we're doing any kind of combined consensus list, Wags the dog's last every day of the week. Can't even fucking remember what that cunt even. Did he have a catchphrase? Did he do anything in particular?
Can I be
just
honest?
Think he was a big fucking dog.
I almost wasn't. I had to double check in my head. Was he part of it, or was he actually more part of the Hamburglar universe in the McDonald's sort of thing? Was he more Hamburglar adjacent, or was he Sid, Ollie, and the other cunt in the Olympics universe? Like he's almost like I don't even know what lane you're in.
Yeah. Right, gotcha. Okay, so okay, you've explained the bottom two. Now the top three, please. Henry the Octopus number one. That's what did I mean? The man had very nice polished shoes. I remember that, and at the end of the day, he was purple. He'd had a nice hat as well. I just think, did he kind of speak like, "Ooh"? Was that what Henry the Octopus sounded like?
I think there might have been a bit of woohoo hoo 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 TK, yes. But what I liked about Henry the Octopus is you've touched on it there already. The man had, I think the kids are or were certainly calling it drip TK. It
Mm,
was patent black shoes with a bit of a heel on them. Like
mm.
if if Henry's what you call a cis male, then he was certainly on the zestier side. I'm not saying he was androgynous, but he certainly like bit of chunk to the heel. There was almost like a Mary Jane TK.
Mm, mm.
He had a lovely little top hat, and he wore this sort of tartanish getup that I thought was quite both ahead of its time and behind its time. In that there was a little perhaps a cry to old Scotland, but also
Yeah.
mother Scotland, but also it was a little traditional, the garb.
Well,
Yeah.
Henry, I believe, a name of Scottish origin. But we just say, yeah, tartan. But I will say, not a top hat, Jack. A boater is actually what he's wearing, which suggests a bit of private school origin, but maybe just a bit of old school class and style in general. Very
It
nineteen
could be a bit of old school class, but I
thirties.
think you're right to suggest there's every chance that Henry the Octopus went to shore.
Mm,
And you're right. It's a boat and not a top hat. And apologies for getting the two mixed up. I liked the shade of violet that he was rocking as well. It was a deep, deep purple.
which I
Um,
believe is your favorite color, or definitely was when you were a watcher of the Wiggles.
Look, it's a color that I have a soft spot for. Certainly, I don't think I could say it's my favorite. I like a deep, rich green, but I do like that purple, that violet that he was rocking. It's almost a plum. It's so bloody dark, um, and I also like the fact that you know he's got 8 legs, mate. Like he's
Mm.
bringing something to the table in terms of quirk, in terms of weirdness. Um, Finally, Dorothy the dinosaur in second place. I've got her in the silver medal position, or indeed the red ribbon position. TK. Um, I just think that she's all class. She's all class. I sort of associate her with tiptoeing through the tulips, with high tea, with sort of strong maternal instincts. I hope that's not putting her in some sort
Mm.
of
Mm.
misogynistic box. But I just thought that Dorothy was the one of the four who you'd be happy to leave your kids with. And you'd be like, there'll be no fiddly diddly business. There'll be nothing strange going on. Um, I don't know that you can say that for any of the others. Even Henry, who I adore, I don't
Well,
know if you could say you'd leave your kids with Henry.
she, like Henry, also had the factor of just being just so damn attractive, despite her massive overbite. I think I think that was definitely, the sex appeal was definitely part of it. Um, Even though, as you said, there was a definite kind of wholesome uh, feel to everything she kind of did, and yeah,
There was.
I don't want to say matronly, but yeah, motherly, kind of.
And let's be honest, Wags the dog and Henry in particular probably weren't the full quid. So there was a little bit of carer about her as well. She was holding hands and walking people down paths because she was required to do that. I mean, like I say, Wags, I think non-verbal. Henry, I hope I'm not overstepping here and saying that Henry's clearly autistic.
Mm,
He was always dancing and making strange noises and he had too many limbs for his own good. I still have him blue ribbon, but I think you have to give a nod to the amount of work. Behind every octopus, there's a dinosaur. TK, I've always said that. Um, and and Dorothy was and indeed is that dinosaur.
I thank you. I think that's a good, a good answer to the question. And it seemed a lot more thought out than I was preparing for. So, cheers.
Well, I mean, I had a 24-hour flight on the way over here.
let us know what your list is, ladies and gentlemen. But sorry, I'm just
Can
gonna
I
have a
just
look
say
at
before we do
my
that, I
list, see
know
if I've
what's
got
going to
anything
happen
written
here. I
down.
knew what was going to happen with the last one, which is there's this bullshit woke agenda. And I knew it was going to happen with the last one vis-a-vis Jeff, and I can tell you it's going to happen this time vis-a-vis Feathersword. People are stuck in their childhood ways and they haven't thought about the problem deeply enough. Why have you got Feathersword one if you do indeed have him one? Is the question rhetorical question. We don't need to go on with it. Sorry, I don't mean to do that. But the rhetorical question I asked the listener, think critically about the problem. Don't just knee jerk go, oh, feathers, I had a Captain Feathersword outfit. Yes, but does he usurp Henry the octopus? Or Dorothy the dinosaur, for that matter. I don't know. That's the last I'll say on the matter.
Interesting. Food for thought. Food for thought. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss? I don't think I have anything of substance in my notes.
I
Oh,
mean, I didn't.
something that we used to do as a kid that I asked someone about the other day, and they thought it was ridiculous. But then I also asked someone else, and they had done it. So maybe it's not just us. Backwalking. And for anyone who wasn't familiar or their dad didn't want them to do this to them, when we were kids, our dad would just lie face down on the floor and he'd ask us to walk on his back, just between his his neck and like basically his ass, but just like I don't know, to relieve pressure from the back. I feel like I was doing it up till I was like 10. When I would have been, because I was a chunky lad, I would have been like 60 kilos. So
Mate, I was doing it up until a couple of years ago. I think I think backwalking TK that was the home version of a Thai massage. If you've ever had one of those, particularly in Thailand, in Bangkok, they will just. I mean, there's no other way to say it. These small Thai women will indeed just mount you. They will
they'll
just get up on top of you, and it'll just be knees into back.
have you had
Upper,
one?
lower. Oh, gotcha. Well, bro, when you
It's
go
good.
to Thailand, yeah, they're great. But when you go, it's it's like $8 a massage. I mean, I haven't been to Thailand for a couple of years, but that's yeah, and it's not a sleazy thing. You're not like, oh, happy ending. No, it's
Happy
not like that.
ending.
It's just no, you're just going to get a
They offer
massage,
it
and
though,
it's a
don't they?
the dodgy places will. Yeah, it wouldn't be my listen, and I know this is very convenient to admit on the pod, but it wouldn't be my cuppa. I just like the more
Yeah.
classic,
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
the more classic
Yeah.
massage. Um, but yeah, backwalking was a sort of a bogan time massage, TK.
Well, would
Shout
you
out to
ever get
Bogan
your kids?
Masaka.
I know you don't have any kids presently, but well, that are of your own flesh and blood. Um, would you get them to walk on your back if it needed relieving of stress?
Possibly. I think one consideration would be age and indeed my size at the time of rearing, of siring, because at the moment, Dad was quite a big man when we were walking on his back. He was a larger gentleman,
He
and
would have
so
been
he
north of
could kind of
100, probably.
north of a buck, mate, 100% buck and change sort of stuff. Can I have a couple of gummy bears? Thank you, sir. Here's my buck and my change. Yeah, he was a big guy and we were small guys because we were children.
Children.
Um,
Mm.
if I was sub 80 when I had kids and they ended up being like yesterday, Chuck and I were rolling the arm over. I was bowling a couple of variations at him at the front here, and this
The other
family
one.
walked past, and in a trolley, not a trolley, it was a stroller. Sorry, was I've got to say, I think the biggest baby I've ever seen. I hate to look at someone's child, someone's flesh and blood, someone's world, TK, and say that is grotesque.
Biggest
But
as
that
in
was,
tall.
oh mate, the head on the thing, the fucking melon on the thing. Like I got to be honest, like it was like Shrek baby stuff. Like it was so fucking big. The kid looked about 6, but I could, in terms of size and build and development, but I could tell by just the facial features that the kid was probably sub 1. We were still talking in months.
Wow.
Um, but and
Wow.
it was just
Six.
yeah. So I just imagine being a slighter fellow and having that kid walk on my back. It would be Um, it wouldn't be ideal. But if I was perhaps a little girthier and my children a little more dainty, they could walk on my back, absolutely. And I can see the appeal. I can imagine that there would be a certain, I don't want to use the word release, but a certain, you know what I mean? Like a certain, well, no,
Well, you've
like
used
a,
it now, so
I know, but you
I,
know what I
I,
mean.
I, all my kids will be overweight, and I think, especially my eldest Genghis, he will have a certain penchant for the finer things in life, and I can't wait for the days I can take him to the buffet at the RSL club and just hook in. Big Genghis
Genghis. So
Khan.
you are committed to having a Genghis Khani.
How could you not?
Name of the
I
episode,
mean,
Genghis Khani.
yeah, probably. I mean, Genghis Khani. Or maybe Genghis could be his middle name if he's like
He's gonna, mate. Your
Elmo
kids are gonna
Genghis
be
Khani.
so fat. Your kids are
Yeah.
gonna be thick, thick little piglets.
Mm. Or yeah, I mean, look, I'm just interested to see. And maybe I won't have children, but
Oh,
if I do, they'll be overweight. Um,
that's a promise. That's a TK guarantee.
yeah, it's like foie gras. You know, I'll be force feeding them.
Oh,
I won't be eating them, but
this has gotten a little dark. Perhaps on that note, we should sort of roll towards a wrap up, takes.
sure. So you're kind of on, not I wasn't going to say suicide watch. No, you're kind of on. You're
No,
on.
I'm not on suicide watch.
No. You're on like kind of
I don't know what kind of what. Finish the sentence.
a timeline of question marks because you don't know. Uh, you don't know when you're going to be in Glasgow, when you're going to get an apartment or whatever. So
Yes,
maybe
that
we could
listen. The
aim to
state of play at
do
the moment, listeners, is
one a
that
week
we
though.
are looking at more apartments on Tuesday. We're hoping to hear back from the one we've applied for. We will get a flat, that we do know, and hopefully it will be, hopefully we'll have some sort of movement there in the next week. By the end of this week, that's the plan. That's the goal. So yeah,
We should.
we'll be podding.
This is easy
What?
enough.
This is fine. This is
So
absolutely fine.
so we could definitely do this once a week. I don't see why not.
We can, and I look forward to listening back to hear the quality of this episode. But thanks, TK. It's good to chat to you, young boy. It's good to hear how
No
things
worries.
have been back in the home on the home soil. Perhaps we wrap it there, big fella.
Sounds good, mate. All right.
All right,
Take
mate.
care.
All the best.